April 23rd meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th order, superseding certain provisions of the open meeting law, we're conducting our meetings via Zoom. The address has been posted on the agenda, and there are phone numbers that you can call to dial in for anyone who is interested in participating. The recording of this meeting is not the official record of the meeting. All right, so it looks like first thing we've got is a notice of intent for conversion of land, 61 Upland Road, for consideration.
So this is a notice to convert under 61A, and at the present time, Town Council has indicated that the board should be making a decision within the next few weeks or so as to whether or not you would like to conduct an appraisal of the subject property at 61 Upland Road. There was some confusion as far as what the date of filing was of that notice. They dated their letter March 12th, but we did not receive it on March 12th. And then after that, we transitioned into that week of March 16th where we were not at the building. And then we received it subsequently electronically from them. But the timeframes were all extended via one of the governor's recent acts that he passed. So we do have time now to react to this. But if you are inclined to want to conduct an appraisal and go through that process, it's probably in our best interest to make that decision within the next couple of weeks and get the person out there to do it, because once the emergency order is lifted, whenever that may be, then we're going to revert back to those time frames, and we don't want a problem where if we are interested in conducting the appraisal, we're past the time limit in which we'd be able to do so.
Okay. All right, Liz, can I just have us go around the horn and everybody that's on the call identify themselves? I'm Christine Joy.
John Trainer.
Mark Russo.
Liz Dennehy.
Bridget Martin. Christy with the Plympton Halifax Express.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. I think that's everybody. So, Mark and John, I don't know how you feel. I'd actually prefer that we maybe hold off on this, and I don't know if we could talk about it a little bit before we make a decision, or if you guys feel like you're ready to make a decision now.
No, I think we should hold off and discuss it. I just would like to know more about what the intent is and how this would work.
Okay. Well, I think that we could, amongst ourselves, discuss this, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, in executive session under, strategy for the securing property or purchasing property.
Yes.
Just to talk about it a little more amongst ourselves, because I know this is new for all of us. This is the first time we're talking about it. So maybe we can do that next weekend or next week at 5:30 prior to our regular meeting.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, what do you think, Mark?
I think the more time and the more discussion, the better, just so we get it right. My concern on the bigger level, and I fully don't understand this, and I think it'll get quite complex, is to whether there's any consequence vis-a-vis Rocky Harvest. And I can't even imagine how we untangle all that, but that would be an unintended consequence, or maybe an unattended or a missed opportunity if there's anything there. So to the degree that we can untangle any of that, I'd like to be able to.
All right, maybe we can get Jonathan to meet with us, Liz,
Why don't we see
5:30.
about his availability for.
Okay. And if he's not available Thursday, maybe we can just do an executive session another day next week when he is available, and then we'll just have our
Okay.
regular meeting on Thursday.
That works too. I'll get in touch with him either later tonight or first thing tomorrow and see what we can put together.
Okay, that sounds great. So we'll just take no action at this time on the 61A conversion application.
Okay.
Okay, so no art this week, huh? You're carrying the COVID-19 updates in discussion?
Yes. So we've been carrying on with our weekly conference calls with the townhouse employees, library, and council on aging. Everything overall seems like it's still continuing to run smoothly. We do anticipate that the governor will potentially extend that May date, but we don't know yet either way. So we're on standby to hear that announcement one way or the other and make plans if we are going to be looking to potentially reopen to make sure that that all gets underway in a responsible manner. We're planning an emergency management meeting next week so that we can discuss whenever that might be that we are able to reopen, how that would look, what the best way is to go about it. And we also have to make sure that we're in compliance with not only some of the state's recently released guidance, but also the federal government released some guidance as well as far as when people are back to work, how that works out as far as people who may have childcare issues. Schools and daycares are not open, but workplaces are. Same thing for if somebody is ill with the virus or caring for a family member at home who has it. So we just want to make sure that whatever plans we implement take all of that into consideration and that we're doing everything responsibly and in the manner that it should be done in. Council on Aging, the Meals on Wheels has been moved out of the fire department and it's now being run out of the Halifax Council on Aging. So that's where that program is currently being operated out of for the time being. Nobody's in a situation where they're no longer getting the stuff. Everybody's still getting those same meals if they were signed up for it. But we've had a few different location changes as conditions have evolved with this virus, trying to consolidate some of the operations and help with getting things to run more smoothly. Joy Marble also let us know a little more today about the brown bag program. And that, she said, was an income-based program. And if you sign up and you qualify, you have a brown, like a grocery bag delivered to your house monthly. And it has all sorts of different items in it. Some basically some staples, some dairy products, some bread and butter and things like that, along with maybe some rice and pasta, some different pantry staples. And that's something that if people are interested in, they should reach out to her. She can put them in touch. She was explaining that the brown bag program, typically people have a caseworker when they're involved with that program. So she could point people in the right direction if people wanted to inquire about their eligibility for that. And same thing for Meals on Wheels. So that is, those resources are available out there. They're still running those programs and people can reach out to Joy Marble. Her cell phone number is on the town's website. It was on some of the prior COVID-19 guidance that we had put out. And people are able to contact her and inquire about their eligibility for that. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Nope.
And everything otherwise is going pretty smoothly. They continue to fog the police cruisers, both of those stations, as well as the ambulance anytime they do a potential COVID-19 run. So that's going well. We've been maintaining our townhouse schedule and giving more people some availability to get into the building. We're trying to keep it as low risk as possible, and we have to check in with Art Moran or myself so that we don't have a bunch of people all visiting the building at the same time. And people are continuing to wipe everything down before they leave, but we think we have a pretty good schedule going right now. We were able to get Bridget some time in there on Mondays so that she can on minutes and everything from her office computer. For some people, it's just easier for them for a variety of reasons to have access to some of the things in the office. So that's what we're doing with Bree now on Mondays. So far so good. And we'll obviously have to take a closer look if the governor announces either way, if he's sticking with that May 4th date to lift the stay-at-home advisory, or if that's being extended in some way.
Great.
Liz, you might want to mention that what the fire chief told us about the people in town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Art Moran had let us know a few days ago 4 positive COVID cases have all recovered and are considered to be cleared. So I updated that on the town's website, and Art let the fire chief know, and regional dispatch and the police chief. So there's no longer any active cases in town that we know about at this time. Those are considered to be recovered.
Hallelujah. That's great news.
That is great news.
All right. Anything else on COVID-19, Liz?
I don't think so at this time. We have John Williamson has joined us for this. We have been receiving word from some various sources in other towns, specifically in Halifax, kind of questioning the budget outlook for their communities and wondering if we're going to do anything on our end at this point in time as far as looking at wage freezes or anything. And I believe that that was mentioned specifically in regard to the school department. And our response at the present time is no. Our fiscal outlook remains solid. Obviously, barring any major cuts to local aid that may come down the pike, or if people have an inability to pay property taxes, those are things that every city and town in the Commonwealth is kind of grappling with right now. And we have to take the information as it comes. But as of right now, our fiscal outlook is just fine, and there are no plans to implement any specific wage freezes at this time. And if that is action that we needed to take, I believe that we would take that up as a town-wide discussion. It would not be specific to any one department. We would look to do that on a full town level, from top to bottom, every department, including potentially the school department. But it would not be our intention to single anybody out. And there's really no reason to make a decision like that at this time. We are aware that it is somewhat time sensitive as we are amidst budget season and have town meetings coming up and want to be able to plan ahead. But we're receiving such different information. Sometimes it varies even day to day or hour by hour. And I just don't think that we're at a place right now where we would be looking to do that. So if you hear anything in that regard, I think I can say safely that we're all on the same page in Plympton as far as the finance committee, town accountant, myself, looking at everything. I think right now it would be premature to be making decisions like that.
Great. Thank you for that report. John, do you have anything to report on with the school?
Yeah, so along those lines, I mean, the school committee will meet on Monday for one of our regularly scheduled meetings. Clearly, We'll be talking about a lot of different items, including things like that. But I think at this point, first of all, the school committee hasn't had an opportunity to talk about what they feel we should or shouldn't be doing with respect to anything to do with salaries. But we also have, of course, the majority of the employees at the school are under a contract. And so, we would need to take a look at that. We also in the contract have some various time constraints, both in the contract as well as in mass general law with respect to notifying employees, which is sort of difficult because we don't really have any information at this point that suggests, other than the fact that the budget has sort of been dumped back out in like a box of Legos and they're all trying to reassemble it now. Other than that, we don't have much information to go on, but we will be coming up against dates in June where we'll have to sort of look at the information at that time. At this time, late April, I think it's really premature to be making any decisions with respect to what we are doing or not doing, but we are also in a negotiation period. So, as I think the selectmen have talked about before, there has been a proposal and we have to address that proposal and figure out what we need to do. But we don't know yet. We also have a Union 31 and Silver Lake Joint School Committee meeting tonight at 6:30. So I get to spend all day on Zoom, and now I get to spend most of the evening too. So I am the winner today. But I'm sure we'll be talking about at least sort of what we know and don't know there as well. And then also, maybe even a little more importantly, we'll be talking about where things have been going with, the distance learning, which certainly has not been easy for anybody. Even though I think, some knew the announcement by the governor was coming last week or had a pretty darn good expectation of it. A lot of people are still upset, especially the kids. And you would think the kids are like, hey, no school, but not like this. No school, it's a snow day, or no school, it's summer is different than no school, I can't go see anybody. So, they did put out a survey to all parents and students in the secondary level, which was sent out last week and was due back in by Tuesday, to gauge with a few simple questions about how that's going and where they could have improvements. So I'm sure we're going to speak to that as well. And I know that the administration is working hard to continue to improve on what we have, but also being cognizant of the fact that we have a number of different scenarios for different students and differing abilities, which makes it a bit of a challenge to try and keep everything equal, doing it this way without, a plan. So it's challenging, but we're plugging through. And as always, we'll keep in close contact with your board in order to make sure that we do things as we always do in Plympton, which is sort of collaboratively and together and making decisions that are sort of best for everyone, at least as best we can.
Thank you, John. All right, so I don't know. Oh, we've got minutes now. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on anything that to talk about?
This is Art. I just joined you
Hey, Art.
a little late. Hi.
Is there anything you want to add? Liz did give a thorough update about the COVID-19 and shared the great news that the 4 people who had tested positive have recovered, which is fantastic. Is there anything else you want to add? How are things going at the transfer station?
That's working smoothly. Everything's going along well there. No, I'm sure Liz covered everything. I was tickled yesterday when I got the news that they're out of quarantine and everything's good. So there's no cases in Plympton right now.
Excellent. Okay, so it appears we've covered everything on our agenda. We've got some meeting minutes to address. So has everybody had a chance to read the minutes that we've got?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So why don't we start with the 26th, March 26th. So those looked fine to me as written.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm good too.
So a second. Okay. So all in favor of accepting the minutes from March 26th as written, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So then we move to April 9th. So April 9th, The bulk of the minutes looked good to me. I think that a date needed to be changed on the second page where we talked about open session minutes from 4/2, but then it's got a different date. It says 3/18. So I think that needs to be changed to 4/2.
Okay.
Okay. Any other changes?
Not that I saw.
Okay, all right. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from April 9th as amended.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we move to the open session minutes from April 16th. So John's minutes looked really good. I just made the amendment to that included the language that we went into executive session. We actually opened the meeting at 5:30, went into executive session for the purpose was listed, and then the copies that I sent you guys, I forgot to put the motion and the votes in there too. So I would add that I made the motion, it was seconded by John, and then the roll call vote.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, all right, so.
There's one other change, which
yeah.
is Liz caught, where we talk about the waiving the interest on the overdue tax payments. The date instead of June 30th should be June 29th.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so where is that?
That's on the first page where the paragraph before the end, where it says the town
Oh, June
administrator.
30th.
Yes,
So it's June 29th.
yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, all right. Any changes for you, Mark?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from April 16th with the addition at the beginning of the minutes about the brief executive session that we held with those votes and changing June 30th to June 29th, 2020.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then we've got the executive session minutes from April 16th. I thought those looked great as written.
Me too.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from April 16th as executive session as written.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we
Did
are,
we approve the April 9th executive session minutes?
I think that we did, because I think we
yeah, we
had
did.
those, but we didn't have the open session. So I believe that we had already accepted the executive session minutes from April 9th.
Okay. Okay, then I'll send them along as approved.
Okay,
On the minutes, I'd like to change the format of the open session minutes to be more in line with the April 16th. And I'd be glad to talk to Bree, but one of the things I think we should be looking at, given that Cable 58, we're not having this professionally recorded, is maybe posting the minutes on the website and on the community website. And I think it'd be easier to read if it was more, as we've done, you know, with the executive session minutes, the April 16th, where it's kind of just as you would talk it out. We don't have to prove that tonight, but I'd like to at least put that out there as a future agenda item.
So you're suggesting the format for April 16th open meeting is the format that we would adopt for future meetings?
Yes.
so it lists the discussions.
Yes. Yeah, be a little more, you know, I'm just thinking that if somebody was to go in and read these, it's a little cryptic that we've done in the past, but we haven't really, you know, it was approved under the rules that were in place, but we also always had Area 58 within a week or so having it up online. Right now, we're dealing kind of in a little vacuum.
that a siren? That's fine with me. It's, I don't know, what do you think about that, Mark? Or you want to talk about it on our next agenda?
I'd like to think about it a little.
Okay,
I like how clean that is. And I think that's good, and I agree with John, the more information we get out there, the better. I think the key is, I believe we are totally up to date now, and this will be from this point to just be pretty fastidious to get them, especially because we're meeting every week, get each of them approved. So really, within 8 or 9 days, the public can be aware of what's going on. The format thing, I mean, I think we might try this for a while and just, see if any other refinements come up along the way.
okay. All right, well, do you want to put it on the agenda and talk about it more next week? Or are you ready to move to that format?
I'd say let's put it on for next week and.
All right, let's talk about it next week then.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll add a format for minutes to the agenda. Okay.
Can we debate font?
Yes, and size. All right, very good.
And
All
commas.
right.
The bigger the better.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but all right. Does anyone have anything to add?
Excuse me, Christine,
Yeah,
will you send me the changes that you just made to those?
absolutely, Bree. I will. As soon as we're done here, I'll email them off to you.
Okay, and then like Liz had said, I'm going to be in the office on Mondays, starting at 9 o'clock, and hopefully be out by like noon.
Christine, I'll send them the executive session minutes just so
Okay,
okay, if you could do the open, but
you got it. You got it. Okay, good. Well, we're in a good spot that we're current. So, so very good. So if we're all set for today, I will make a motion that we adjourn, and we will talk again next week.
I'll second that.
All right. All right, everyone, stay safe. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Good night.